how many people here have really wanted to do something about climate change or global warming, etc.? All right. As many of you know, earlier this year in Paris, leaders from around the globe gathered to discuss climate change and how we could cut down on the harrowing toll it has taken on our Earth. The same Earth that is the only place our race has to live for decades to come until we can launch off this planet and colonize Mars or the Moon. Now, until that time comes, we're stuck here on this planet. And I don't know about you, but I am not interested in reenacting the movie Interstellar just with climate change as opposed to dust. Now, a few of you may be thinking how our government or devoted climate change scientists can solve this, but I don't think we should sit back and relax, oblivious to this climate change apocalypse. Now, several months ago, on a field study to our local grow dome with my school, we were taught in depth about climate change and locally sourcing food. So, me being intrigued, I asked the gardeners how much it would be to install that same type of grow dome at our school, and their answer was a whopping $5,000. I thought that was insane at the time. And that is why I invented the Hexadome. So that everyone around the world could become a climate change activist without a degree in climate change or fossil fuel usage. While at the same time, your Hexadome will be cutting down on our global emissions from long-distance food transportation that litters about 31% of our total carbon footprint production. Now, there are two iterations of the Hexadome. So, the indoor model will be using an automatic watering system that I designed. That, of course, that'll be in the future. It is not a reality yet, but it will be coming. Now, the outdoor models, they'll be very different. They'll be much larger and made as modular components that can stack. Though, again, these are all features that'll be included in the future. Now, a big bonus to the Hexadome is that it can go anywhere in your trailer, apartment, dorm room, or mansion, from your ceilings or attached to your wall. A simple Velcro adhesive is enough to connect your miniature greenhouse to your fridge or your window, practically any space with light. Now, before you insert your herb or plant into the Hexadome, decide where you want it. Decide whether you want it to be hanging above your kitchen table for unlimited access, or you want it attached to your fridge or, again, your window using this simple Velcro adhesive. Now, inserting your plant or herb into the Hexadome is as simple as opening up the top of it like this and filling in the recommended amount of drainage, fertilizer, and dirt. Now, in the future, I will have all of this pre-sealed in the Hexadome using 90% recycled clear plastic for easy Ziploc bag type opening. Now, all in all, the Hexadome is a pretty amazing, flexible tool. But in conclusion, the Hexadome is a multifaceted gardening system for whether you just want aesthetics, just a garden on your fridge, something cool to look at, or you're serious about growing vegetables or fruit, or you want an indoor garden that you can rely on. But this is also a catalyst for activism, for people to start thinking about climate change without wondering, do I need a degree for this? Do I need to be devoted to this? Is this a commitment I really want to get into? Well, it's not that complicated. It's pretty simple. It's just like growing a garden, and if you can do that, you can get this Hexadome. There are a few applications for this. You could simply just grow for your family, just extra food, whether you want some strawberries or some vegetables you grow, or even here just micro herbs like rosemary. Smell really good. But this can also be used to locally source food to your local grocery, or to your school, or any place that is in need of food or can't afford this food. And what you're doing by doing this is you're helping bring down those organizations that ship food over 1,300 plus miles to get to groceries, at which carbon emissions are spewed out into the atmosphere to stay there for several generations. And I know this question is asked at maybe many TED Talks, or it's just asked in a lot of different places, whether at conferences or if you watch Stephen Colbert. He asks, do you want a healthier place for your grandchildren? And what he means by that is that these greenhouse gases, this carbon footprint, this is here to stay for a very long time, hundreds of years, hundreds to even thousands of years when it comes to carbon dioxide. In conclusion, the Hexadome is a multifaceted garden for aesthetics, plant or herb or vegetable or whatever you want to grow in it. But again, it's also a catalyst for activism on the individual scale and eventually our entire planet. Now, what I've learned from this experience, and hopefully you have as well, is that small things like this piece of plastic and dowel rods can make big changes in the long run. Even though right now it may not seem like much, in the future, when this propels, hopefully, this could make big changes in the way, like, in people's perspectives on climate change and the way they feel they can combat this. Thank you. My name is Luke Janssen, and this has been the Hexadome.